640,000 job losses predicted by 2021. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein, we're going to need it. There's an article from Yahoo Finance I thought we'd have a look at while discussing shocking predictions of 640,000 more Australian job losses by March of next year. Now, before we have a look at that, we can bring up the unemployment rate right now, 7.4%. And we'll jump over, that's the ABS data, we'll jump over to Roy Morgan. Everyone, if you're not familiar with them, they've got their own method of measuring unemployment, and it's a different methodology to the ABS. The rule of thumb is you kind of double the ABS unemployment statistic to get theirs. And right now, as of July 2020, they have it sitting at 12.5% unemployment, 10.5% underemployment, with a combined unemployment and underemployment of 23%. 23% of the workforce. And some funny things can happen, guys. You have people that are stepping back, that aren't actively looking for a job, and they're not counted in part of the workforce, and then all of a sudden the economy is getting better, people jump back in, unemployment goes up because they're now participating again. So there can be some funny things going on. That's why I prefer the Roy Morgan methodology, and we really should just look at that 23%, guys. So if we scroll up the top here, the unemployed number of people, and this is 100,000, which is this chart, right now you're looking at 1.7 million. So they're saying it would jump up to 2.4 if we get another 600,000, like where we hit at March, in late March. So let's have a look at this, everyone. Around 640,000 more Australians could lose their jobs by March 2021, adding to the 740,000 jobs already lost before June this year, new data has revealed. As a result of 6 key factors, with the most significant force being the closure of international borders, the economic shock of the pandemic will see the unemployment rate skyrocket between June 2020 and March 2021, a McKinsey & Co. report has found. Now, we've discussed this in other videos. International travel is a big part of Australia. You look at our tourism numbers, look how many people are employed in that sector. 660,000, 5.2% of the workforce, everyone. $60 billion. That $60 billion is more than our iron ore exports. And Australia, the dollar kind of tracks the iron ore price in some regards. Due to Chinese demand. You've got international students, another big part of our economy. All of these things taking a hit. Then you've got property. I'll bring up this chart here. This is the Foreign Investment Review Board. Look how much property, building approvals for new property, was for foreign investors. It was over 90% at one stage. That's insane. And people wonder why. There's calls of a bubble or overheating of a market. So, international borders, well, how long is it going to be? There's talk about it lasting until Christmas, these closures, or even past that. 18 months for Victoria being closed. It's crazy. It's going to have an impact, everyone. So these international border closures and the lack of migration triggered a significant decline in consumer spending. That, combined with lockdown restrictions and stagnant wage growth, has put extreme pressure on business health, leading to a decreased investment, more business failures, fewer new entrants, and less innovation. And I will bring up a chart just showing business confidence. You can see business confidence has taken a hit. Business conditions have improved. Ignore the June 2020. That's actually for July. I haven't updated the date here, and I'll do a video later today going through this in detail. So consumer confidence has taken a hit. Business confidence has taken a hit, even though conditions have improved. But while hundreds of thousands of Australians will most likely be out of work, not all industries will be equally hit. For example, the tourism industry has been hit hard by the pandemic restrictions, but is well placed to recover once the pandemic passes, the firm found. In saying that, McKinsey expects it to be hard for the tourism industry to return to its pre-coronavirus scale, with arts venues copying the brunt of the blow. Others, such as construction, will be protected from these direct effects, but will still be indirectly exposed to the crisis via business cycle effects or structural changes, the report said. Some more fortunate industries, like technical services, will still be recovering once the immediate effects of the lockdown start to fade, and some, like retail, will be changed forever. And we've discussed this more and more. I did a video yesterday looking at predictions of increased offshoring. If you can do a job from home in the regions in Australia, that same job can be done overseas. The advantage is you've got probably a better cultural understanding of here in Australia. You've got a more technically Australian-focused skills base. But if your role doesn't require those things, why would they pay you more than someone in the Philippines that could do it as a fraction of the rate? That's the harsh reality that we're all facing, everyone. Stay-at-home rules and directives to minimize physical interaction have prompted many experiments in online retail, including novel initiatives and new product categories, the report says. As sales shift online, the employment profile of Australia's retail industry is expected to change permanently, as fewer customer assistants will be required to deliver each dollar of revenue. The report follows claims from the Victorian Chamber of Commerce and Industries, VCCI, that 250,000 more Victorians will lose their jobs as a result of the Stage 4 lockdown restrictions. We know that for us to get into a position again where we talk about recovery, the health crisis needs to be brought under control. But the cost of the actions, to get to that point will be devastating and long-lasting, with the effects felt by all of us for many years, VCCI Chief Executive Paul Gurrier said. The Victorian unemployment rate alone was predicted to peak at 9% in September prior to these new restrictions. Now it's expected to surge past that. So who will be hit the hardest? Areas of Australia that are highly dependent on tourism, retail, hospitality and construction will be hit hardest, the report found. This means some coastal tourist towns could see unemployment rise above 10% in the period between September and March 2021. But those in metropolitan areas won't be unscathed. 2/3 of jobs at risk are located in the CBDs of capital cities. The towns reliant on domestic travellers like South Australia's Barossa Valley and Kangaroo Island will fare far better, as they are significantly insulated from the sharp decline in international tourism. But we've got decreasing consumer confidence, and you've got an increasing unemployment rate, and you've got travel restrictions across Australia. So will that mean internal tourism, domestic tourism will return to levels where it once was? There's a question I put on you. How many people are going to rush out for that holiday if they're struggling to make their mortgage repayments? And there are some interesting effects across generations too. Gen Zers, along with millennials, are the least confident of economic recovery, the report found, and with very good reason. Across all industries, 15 to 19-year-olds are almost twice as likely to lose their jobs as 40 to 49-year-olds. The report also found that lower-income workers are expected to be twice as likely to be out of work than higher-income earners. So what can the government do? Tailored policy solutions will be key to helping workers retain their jobs, or at least cushion the blow, McKinsey & Co. found. For example, in the arts and recreation sector, redesigning restrictions to allow art performances or sports events to safely occur could be more effective than offering incentives for CapEx investment, the report stated. That's a very good point. We need to look at least plan for long-term living with this economic situation and instigating plans in place to ensure our economy can continue to function, people can still get a livelihood while minimizing the risks. It is a risk-reward assessment that needs to be done. And judging by some of the other things that have come out about the government's way of handling these things, just look at the hotels in Victoria. Look at the advice to aged care professionals to not wear PPE that's come out now. I'd say that our risk assessment processes may have been a bit rushed, or we just weren't set up to deal with these type of things. So we need to think forward, everyone. And I'm hoping our leaders will do that. I'd rather see ways of encouraging the economy to be self-sustaining rather than dependent. Because all state dependency, remember, government doesn't create money. It just shifts it around. Even the MMTers, if the government creates money, it's going to take us back through taxation in the future. And that's labor. You're forced to give up, whether you like it or not. So similarly, policymakers will need to be clear-eyed about the automation and digitization shifts sweeping through industries and help firms adapt rather than protect unsustainable business models. See, this is the thing, everyone. There's going to be more and more calls for tariffs, more and more calls for protectionist policies. And you have to understand that that just means a decrease in the quality of life that people are going to experience, one way or another. So you could say you'll have a privileged class that are protected by the tariffs, and maybe it may maintain their level higher, but everyone else's will go down lower. How does it work out? So that might mean state governments will need to look at the tertiary education sector to support reskilling employees. Economists argue that the government needs to increase its fiscal stimulus, with JobSeeker and JobKeeper simply not going to cut it. I would love to see an experiment with special economic zones looking at drastically decreasing the burden of the state and allowing more free enterprise in these areas. Why not? What do we got to lose? What do we have to lose? The system we currently have isn't working. This quasi-crony capitalist system with government intervention at all levels, with an artificially low cash rate. What do we have to lose? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Do you think that would work? Do you think there would actually be any political will to push for that in Australia? As always, take care. If you're a fan of the channel, please comment, like, and share the content. Help the video spread. If you'd like to support us financially, there are a few ways you can. You can join the channel on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using any of our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or Kucoin. You can buy a merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, everyone. Have a great day, and I shall see you all in the next episode.